Once that goes live, we can get them on chat. Just started my day. Oh, man. If the edges are round, are they really even edges anymore? Have you heard of the edgeless safety cube? Fascinating. Okay, so that's going. And now I can take this window over here. I am like aggressively tired today. And then we can auto find and activate. Oh, this time it didn't fight me. And then which one is the real one? That one is from yesterday. Which one? That was this one. There we go. Okay, so because otherwise this window would have a whole bunch of links to old YouTube's chats. It's a sphere in Portal. It's not a rectangle. It's not what? Not a square. A ball sphere. That's weird. I'm not going to argue it though, because mathematicians are also strange people, and the definition of things is like so malleable. I've read tons of arguments about this kind of thing. It's hip to be a square. A square is also a rectangle. The nerds will fight over that one infinitely. I'm wondering about the seat. At some point, I'm going to have to get on the floor and extract the button panel to see if it's speaking LIN bus. And if it is, that means that this probably outputs LIN bus, in spite of the little bits of damage that it has, because there's like a scratch on the circuit board and a couple components are missing. I might be able to power this thing up, and this might start trying to speak LIN bus to the button panel. This is the extra computer that I have. Extra seat computer. All this thing does is do heat and motors in the chair. And then it, of course, speaks diagnostics back to the main thing. I wonder if it could get your butt temperature from it. Measure the resistance of the wire and be like, their butt is approximately... Can you see through this? I'm seeing like... I think you can see the border of this through the... There's so many vias in this that it's like a screen. Yeah, you can. In this area, you can see through the board. There's so many vias. It's acting like a light pipe. That's weird. That's super... Hey, BMW, this may be too many vias. Your board is too dense. We can see through it. There's so many vias that you can actually see light through the board. It's not an incredible amount. I mean, it is. It seems like it's more than you'd expect, but it is a lot of vias for a 2-layer circuit board. I guess that's on par. That's so weird. What you do is you look at this right here, and you can kind of get an impression that that's what's there. It's so weird. Cool. All right. Anyway. It's hot cold today. I'm sitting here and I'm sweating a little bit, or rather, I feel like I'm sweating a little bit. But yet it's cold in the house. So I don't know what the deal. I don't know what that means. I think that maybe the air is cool and the walls are warm, just because we've had a couple warm days recently. But it did all cool out, and it's rained all the way up until today. So now things are starting to like dry off and stuff. But man, I'm like simultaneously 2 temperatures. Weird. I'm looking forward to getting into this. I don't know where I'm going to start. One last question. It's okay, Wheezy Peasy. You can have all the questions you want. Ask away. One of the things that I want to look at is the sleep command. Cold breeze with radiant sun heat. That's one of the ones, yeah, that's one of the hot colds as well. You don't know if it's cold hot or hot cold. Does caffeine affect the beatus or you or generally? I don't think so. If there were effects, I don't know them. They're not prominent. You know, if it is a thing that actually affects diabetes, I don't think caffeine is really doing much for diabetes. I think it's operating on different metabolic systems. Because, yeah, it won't make you feel more awake. It'll basically, it releases. But then again, being nervous affects diabetes. Like if you have stage fright, you can get hyperglycemic because your body has metabolic systems that do all that. Man, everything affects everything, you know? I just have not clocked specific caffeinated symptoms for diabetes. But I think getting your heart moving probably does have an effect. I don't know. Yeah, the doctor will probably have less of a wishy-washy answer because they'll know a bit more about personal circumstances and stuff too. Bodies are crazy. They're all a little bit different. And yeah, so the symptoms that I feel are different than other symptoms, and the effects that I feel are probably different than other people's effects. It's a big mess. It always has been, but it's a big mess. That's why doctors have tough jobs. And it's probably one of the big complications behind finding a cure for diabetes, which is that everyone's diabetes probably is affected on a slightly different system. So if you come up with one cure, it's not going to be the right thing for that person because the immune system's involved. The immune system targeting the islets of Lagrange, the beta cells that create insulin, may go on a ton of different mechanisms for your body to say, hey, that's a foreign entity, I'm going to attack that. And so you need to figure out what that system is. And so the latest rumor that I get all the time, maybe it's confirmed, but they used some type of a CRISPR thing in order to get somebody's DNA, not to get the DNA, to alter the DNA so that their immune system would not attack the islets of Lagrange, the cells that in the giant sponge cake that is your pancreas, all the very different glands, varied glands in your jello mold of an organ. The genetic stuff was used to specifically figure out what alteration there was that caused diabetes, and then they undid it with CRISPR, which is crazy. It's a crazy amount of medical technology to do that. What's up, Madam U? How you doing? I have a Ring battery in my pocket because I need to remember to swap the doorbell one. Might not be a doorbell this afternoon. I forgot to do that. I'm realizing now, just because I'm like, is that a Ring camera in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? That's a battery, rather. So one thing I want to do, I want to try with this, is put it to sleep. Give it a sleep command, because right now I am just getting button statuses from it, which means if I hit a button, you can see a change in the early part of the signal right here. Really cool. All the buttons are just 1 and 0, just one single binary bit in the signal is each button. And then of course, as the signal changes, so too does the checksum that's being sent back. So the stuff after here is this thing talking, and the earlier stuff is this thing talking. A call and response. Can CRISPR change other things? I don't know. You know, if with genetics, it's like, what's changing? Like if I want brown eyes and you use CRISPR to change your DNA so that you have brown eyes, my eyes are already built. Like I'm not rebuilding them. So it's not gonna magically change your eye color. Maybe after, isn't it 7 years, all the cells in your body are replaced? Which is a little bit crazy. I don't know about the truth of that statement, to be honest. I don't think cells are changing on that level. But anyway, if all the cells in your body are different in 7 years, then maybe then you'll have a different eye color. But I don't really think so. I don't have the bandwidth sharing video streams with Daddy Pisos. I know. The reason I went with the Ring camera is that the voice lady also speaks Ring camera. I would like to go to something else. that's secure, something that I control. But this is the easy solution for being able to be down here and locked up while the workday goes on. And so people will show up with packages or God forbid solicitors that I have to shoot at. And so that helps me be aware of what's going on upstairs. So that's the only reason I have it. I have everything else turned off, but I know it's probably sharing. The police are watching me, you know, walk my dog against my will. Luckily, it doesn't look at anything like the street, so I'm not unintentionally providing data to Palantir and things like that. The only data they would get is, well, there's trees there. I am chronically super duper tired. I was telling Wheezy Peasy earlier that yesterday, the reason that I was nauseous and I was kind of irpy was not because of the pulled pork that I ate for lunch. What had happened is either in putting on a shirt or the placement of my insulin pump was too inboard on my arm where it rubs up against my body. And so after eating dinner, my glucose level was still super high. And I was like, what is going on? Why is insulin not working? I told it to inject a bunch of units and I started smelling Band-Aids. Insulin smells like Band-Aids intentionally so that you know that it's around, because it's bad if you're supposed to have the insulin in your body where you cannot smell, or outside of your body where you can smell. So turns out smelling Band-Aids was one of the things that I should have keyed into. And the other one was my unchanging glucose level. I went and I looked under my arm. Insulin pump was hanging off. There was the cannula, the little plastic tube that goes under the skin, was not in my skin. So I was not getting insulin the entire afternoon. My symptoms on stream were of early signs of DKA. Nausea, I don't know, grumpiness. Grumpiness is a symptom of being hyperglycemic, but I hope I'm not that grumpy. But all the ways that I was feeling like really tired for some reason. Like I finished stream and I thought, man, I'm really tired after stream. I must have put a lot into it. I didn't. I'm usually not that tired. Took the dog for a big walk and I had both corgis, so I was running a lot because the male corgi wants to travel and the female corgi wants to stay put and sort of dodder around and wait for her friends to show up. From the pump, you smell Band-Aids? Yeah. I can't smell it right now. I've got a pump in this arm. It's right there. I have a pump in this arm and I cannot smell Band-Aids. But if that cannula slips out and it starts just injecting insulin onto my arm, but not into my arm, you smell kind of a Band-Aid smell. And you'd smell that if you draw from a syringe bottle. You know, they do a little squirt thing to get the air bubble out. You'll smell Band-Aids for insulin. And that's intentional because the insulin's supposed to be in your body, not laying out in the open. So anyway, as soon as I discovered this, I put on a new pump. I injected a bunch of units of insulin, and then I had to wait for like an hour and a half for my glucose level to finally start dipping down. And you can actually see it. I have to do that one from here. In the lower chart, you can see that's where it shoots up. And I probably damaged the pump at that point. And then all afternoon. So around noon, 6 p.m., probably 8 p.m., hyperglycemic. It was torture. So as a result, you guys have a slightly more tired bother than usual. It's an unfortunate circumstance of the disability that I have. But we're going to power through. We're going to get some of this stuff done. It's going to be a lot of programming today, and we'll just hit the steering wheel and the switch with a bunch of digital signals that'll hopefully wake them up. It's funny, but it's good to know. Yeah, I could never put my finger on what the smell was, and then somebody said it's Band-Aids, and I'm like, it just, I woke up at that point. I was like, whoa, my whole life, my life is a lie. It's Band-Aids. It's been Band-Aids the whole time. At this point, I am just listening to this mix, and I would love to start working on this because I'm excited because we actually have it responding. This is live. We actually have the steering wheel speaking to us, which is not a new thing, by the way. We've had it speaking to us for a long time. It's been years that I've been able to do this. It's just This builds our confidence back for getting this one running, but I'm not sure yet what kinds of things we need to go through. I really hope in some kind of non-volatile memory, this thing has remembered its address, and so we can just pull that and get it to respond again. I think it's supposed to have some kind of a fixed address, but it's readdressable on the bus. Why do they do that? I don't understand what they thought LinBus was going to be doing other than being in cars that are configured, right? They would have certain LinBus addresses for certain prioritization of different systems that would just be permanently. I don't see a car company as having two devices with the same LinBus address, and I don't know why the bus itself is geared to reconfigure itself on its addresses. It's so strange. Lurk to find the brain cells I dropped on the floor. Yes, indeed. Take it easy peasy, enjoy the process. I will. I always do. I only do as much as I can do, which is why you see me ending streams early. I feel bad about that. I need to do longer streams, but I'm not going to push myself, you know? This stream is not worth permanent injury, brain injury, for streaming long hours. We keep it short and sweet, totes sweet. But again, longer streams grow your audience, so I should do more of that, and I should do more evening streams. But again, I've got the dog to take care of, so the dog and the roommates to take care of in this house. So we'll figure it out at some point. We're going to remain Euro friendly in the meantime. Oh, those Europeans benefiting from the afternoon bother. Afternoon bother sounds like afternoon delight or something. What's afternoon bother? Oh, good to pop out and have an afternoon bother. Oh, this camera's still frozen. This is me from like 4 days ago. Here we go. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna put a little plus on that, and we're gonna put some text up. Where's the wait, what? ASIO. Oh yeah, that's right. I installed an ASIO plugin. Shadow stroke. What is it called again? Oh, window capture, VLC video. Oh, text. There it is. Frozen. And then we're going to drop a shadow. Gradient. No, not gradient. We're not doing gradient. Outline. It sounds like a mixed drink, an afternoon bother. All right, that's the frozen cam. This is a good mix. I would put this mix on in my car. Bump, 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 bump. Multiple buttons. Oh, how am I going to poll this one, though? Maybe we'll have to make like a slow poll. I have too many ideas of where to go in my head, so we need to just like get into one. And so let's get rid of the intro because we're live on YouTube, we're live on Twitch. I owe you guys some content. I'm actually fading it out. It's an actual fade out. Unbelievable amount of artistry from your streamer here. Hi, what's everybody doing? Don't tell me. I don't need to know. No, I deeply care about my chat. Trying to get my brain together to do some things. Also have no energy today. I swear I was tap dancing in my sleep. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. We got to get to this signaling. We got to get to this signaling, and I have too many ideas of where to go. Yesterday, let's start at the beginning, and I'll go quickly. I received an entire BMW chair from my brother. That's this here, an entire seat for a car. And I have been into simulator stuff for a long time. I have been building. I mean, I'm more into building stuff than I am simulator stuff, but I do like sim games, and I've got all kinds of like cool joysticks and stuff that I can masturbatorily strap to a table and play computer games. But things have evolved quite a ways in the whole pantheon of streaming and video gaming and simulating. And there are these wonderful things called extrusion rails. They're aluminum extrusions that have a particular pattern where you can drop a screw in it and tighten things up, and you can build structures. And so around this chair, around this car seat, I have built a structure. Whether or not it be the absolute mathematically perfect structure that I need to build in order to use real car parts in a simulator, I don't know, but I've gotten pretty close. We've got electric adjustable controls on the seat. We've got electrical adjustable controls on the wheel. The pedals are fixed, but I think that can make for a very hilarious combo when it comes to gaming. You guys will be able to kind of adjust things for me on the fly. We can interconnect all of this stuff using CAN bus, which is why we're working with LIN bus. It makes sense, trust me. So the CAN bus is what all of the components of a typical car speak. It is a higher level system that has diagnostics and all kinds of goodness on it. It's used industrially, it's used in automotive scenarios, but the problem is it uses two wires that are a differential wire, and if you're just trying to get radio controls into your system, it's a little bit much. So automotive eggheads all got together and they made something called the LIN bus, the local interconnect network bus. That works much in the same way that one-wire protocol works. There is a wake-up, there is a sync. These are necessary in the LIN bus. They're not necessary in the CAN bus, although I think, does CAN bus have something like that? I don't think it does. In a one-wire protocol, you don't have a clock pin. It's not like SPI. You can't initiate stuff from a TX and an RX. You literally just have one line held at 12 volts and you pull it down in order to communicate with your buddies. So you need to wake everybody up and get them listening to you. Then you need to send them a timing sync and then the specific thing that you're trying to talk to. And the reason you see the second part of the signal jittering around a little bit is because there's a slight delay. You see where that blue line makes a 50 microsecond spike? That 50 microsecond spike is actually the dwell time waiting for a response from the other device. So the address that you requested will then respond in that second part of the signal. This is two devices talking to each other. Aw, look at them, they're best friends. So this is pretty cool. Who would trade a perfectly good seat for a brother? Oh no. Oh no, what have I done? What have I done? I didn't catch that grammatically, but that is absolutely something that is a joke that I would make. That is completely in line with how I would act. All right, anyway, so yeah, point is, we've gotten two LIN bus things communicating with each other. It's like, why are you bothering with LIN bus? Well, these hacks, these absolute buffoons, these obscene poop lords got their heads together and decided that they would like 3 wires to go to a device instead of 4. And so now I have to get used to a completely different communications protocol in order to figure out where a button is in its life. Is it doing okay? You seeing somebody? Anyway, we plugged this thing in. We got my old software running and everything was completely wrong. So last stream, we had to go over all of it, change the timings to be the more modern code. And it's funny because the LIN bus master test was the name of the file. The test file became my production, which, you know, is actually a lot more common than I think I realize. But I was building up a file to say, hey, we could put all these functions in, and then boom, that's the final one. That's the one that we got working. I built a whole engine for Bluetooth Low Energy and stuff, but that we're not going to need anymore, and I'm happy to not need it. So my thoughts are, if I can get these LIN bus devices first of all, to just talk to us. I'll know what the status of the buttons are, and then I can convert the packets into CAN bus signals so that everything is speaking CAN bus. Because in a simulator setup, everything is low profile. None of this is like, oh, you need to deploy the airbag, which is like the highest profile message that a car can have. No, everything is low profile in this thing. So we can have all of these CAN bus messages flying around, created by the devices, the joysticks and the steering wheel. And then I can route them as I need to. And so I can make a button control chat, or a switch turn on and off interactions, or, you know, a Stream Deck button that moves my steering wheel. Like the sky's the limit. I can do anything. So I like the idea of this system. I think it'll work. It all depends on the speed of Node-RED and the Raspberry Pi. But first, I need to get a bunch of devices that can speak CAN bus, and I got a little distracted by the headlight switch of a BMW. Not this one. The one that I had was for an E46, which is much older. This is an F10. Those are meaningless to anybody but car people, but those are just generations of BMW. So this guy right here is the headlight switch. The other headlight switch, I don't know where it is. I have the rest of it. The rest of the old switch would plug into this, and this enormous microcontroller would read all the statuses of the switches and buttons and stuff, and then it would use these old but effective multiple FET switches in order to turn on and off the various headlights and taillights. That's what the whole of the headlights was controlled by this board. Nowadays, though, it's more decentralized. So you will have a microcontroller, a little 16-bit microcontroller in here on a printed circuit board that would then communicate over the LIN bus in order to tell some other unit what to do with the headlights. And it would potentially talk directly to the headlights. The headlights themselves probably have a controller in them, because I've heard all kinds of stories about people needing to like reprogram their headlights. So that's sort of the idea with cars nowadays. But that leaves us in a bit of a tizzy. We're in a little bit of trouble here because we don't know what the address is for each thing. LIN bus is a standard. There are some non-standard pieces to it, and the auto company is not under any sort of threat to follow that standard. So we don't know what BMW is out there doing. We happen to know through our hacking efforts that Mercedes did follow LIN bus. 1.0, 2.0, I don't know, 0.0, but we were able to get the steering wheel. You can see the little. You can see that it's actually communicating. It's drop the packet. Yeah, you can see it's actually communicating. We were able to do this. They were kind enough, Mercedes, to have just a normal address for this thing. I don't know what this has. We tried hitting it with a bunch of signals, but we didn't confirm that our signals could work. So now that we know that our signals could work, we're at a good baud rate. All of our timings are okay. This has to be manually bit banged, by the way, because when you send binary, you can see how all of the different bytes of the signal, how they're broken up. There's like gaps in between them because there's a start bit and a stop bit. And the UART in the Arduino, I can't really speak for the specific Arduino that I'm using, just in general, doesn't let you undo the start and stop bit. So you have to actually bit bang this, which is pulling the line low, waiting for the space of 13 bits, and then pulling it back up in order to have it wake up. There's also, in LIN 2.0, there's a system where you can put everybody to sleep and wake everybody up from sleep. So I'm wondering if I can send a wake up packet so that we get a communication back of something. So that's what we're going to try first. Let's try that. So anyway, that's what we're working on. We're doing LIN bus stuff, and it's so eclectic and weird. We don't have any like specific manual from the car companies about what they did. So that's the hacking part of it, is that we're gearing up to send a bunch of addresses out calling for things and finding out what actually responds. So that was the original program that I ran. That's not it. Hold on, let's minimize these. That's what this one is doing. And it's saying success on 9C. Success. I know a guy who did time for selling wake-up packets. Boy, couldn't we all use wake-up packets? All right, so we've got all our pins defined. We've got all our timings redefined. The break bits was part of it. I have it on a fixed address. I put in a little bit of code that would fix the address. So maybe perhaps we should make it go through all of the addresses. And when it gets to the last one, it'll just stop. So instead of, where are we? So we're running bus check. Bus check calls the address. If we get a 1 from bit start, we would load it into a variable, but at that point, we do the serial prints. So that is bus check, yeah, okay, so serial prints are, it's funny, none of this is printing. Oh, because I fixed it on this, on the 1 success, right? So bit start loads us in, and we run serial prints, which just says success. Serial prints is like way down here. These functions were built for a much larger program. Serial prints, print readout. The redundant. Wonderful. Serial print address hex success. We're going to get rid of that. Well, actually, we do want it to say success. I do want it to say success. Because if we run through with both devices plugged in and we just say success and then we continue on. Print bits, and that's if we actually have, oh, this is for printing them with a 0. But I'm just serial printing the address. Good job, great success. Oh, you know what we need to do? We need to check the checksums to make sure that I'm doing the right checksums, because that could be another thing that this is ignoring. There's what are they called again? Parity bits. Boy, that took me a minute. There are parity bits that are defined by, is that an XOR? For the bits that are in the ID of the frame. The whole signal's called a frame. There is a sync, which is that up, down, up, down. Then it'll have the address. And the address has parity bits. And the parity bits are defined by the XOR of... LIN bus is complicated. It's complicated. It's weird. But yeah, the first 2 of the address are actually set by the contents of the address bits. So if we're asking for the steering wheel's address in the serial printout, which I've got too many Arduinos open, it says 9C, but 9C is with the parity bits. So you 0 the parity bits, and that's apparently the address. And so our address, I believe, is C1. Oh no, 1C. 1C is what Mercedes set the steering wheel buttons to. And so that comes in, and it's actually 9, you guys can't see, it's 9C when you calculate the parity bits. Parity, not parody. Yes, thank you. That is a clarification. I couldn't find the text because the LIN bus standard is so convoluted and annoying. So I just need to check to see that we're printing all of the correct parity addresses. So before we do that, I need to, well, ignore the return bit, and we need to unplug the wheel. So I'm going to move the LIN bus pin. Which one's the LIN bus pin? That was blue. Move this off, and so we're no longer communicating. Actually, I'll move all 3 off because we will not power it for this. Back to boring. So boring. All right, so what we need to do is we need to run through all of the addresses except for, well, no, this one is going to be including. So let's go back up to the other part of the program because I'm manually putting in serial prints. This is a very messy setup, and I should probably come in here and clean it up, but that's a boring thing to do for another day. This is where we're doing all of our addressing, and so we're making something called ADDI, which has the parity bits, and I'm using bit reads in order to do it. Bit read is kind of a sloppy way of getting your 1s and 0s from things, but that's what I'm doing. I have a variable that's a UNT8T, which is a binary 8-bit variable without sign. There's no positive or negative to it. 0 to 256 or whatever. 1024, I forget which one it is. But anyway, I'm using bit read instead of doing all the bit masks. We had a chatter come in and go, hey, why are you bit shifting in order to get rid of the parity of the address? Why would you do that when you could just do like an and mask? And I'm like, oh, because I'm dumb. that's really all there is to it. That's all there is to it. So we're gonna keep it on finished and while one. And instead of 3B, it's going to be see me get a free CD and 3B. It's a 3F. We're going to go through all of them because we're not talking to anybody. The problem with these bits is that you can put it into like a reprogramming mode and you can brick your device. So I don't like sending it those last 4. You're not really supposed to be using the last 4. The last 2 are manufacturer, do whatever you want. And the 2 before that are for another device to come in and do diagnostics. It's an important clarification when you're trying to learn this stuff. I derped around watching comedy while trying to learn about parity bits. Well, it's a good distraction. So where was the serial print that prints the... Oh, wait, what is this? Okay, let me like get rid of some stuff that I'm looking at here. Like what is, this is not needed. Serial prints. We don't need that. Serial print, the address and hex. What was this one? Oh, this is addy up. So that shift. If addy is equal to 3F, we just capture it and stop the program. If the address is equal to 0, I don't know why I'm intentionally setting it up 1, but apparently that's just that's a weird thing in the program. I don't know why I did that. Address plus plus, and then we get rid of this line, which is locking us into 1C for the wheel. We don't need that at the moment. Then we calculate the parity and write it. So when we address plus plus, because I want to print with the parity, address up, oh, okay, yeah. So this is whatever's happening before. Wait, this is like sloppy. I don't know what the loops are here. Print the address, shift it out, print it again. And then we move it up 1 from where it was. Is that going to affect the counting? Is this going to affect my baby? Well, we need to count with those bits zeroed out. So no, I don't think, this is just a temporary thing just so that we can print out all these. I think that's good. I think that's the alterations that we need to make. So I'm gonna upload this to the device, and in order to use these RP2040s, the microcontroller, particular microcontroller we're using, it needs to be put into boot mode. So I need to press the boot button, then hit the reset button, let go of the reset button, let go of boot. And the waveform goes null, because we're in boot mode now. We're not sending out all of our signaling. So now I can hit upload, and we get like a half hour of compiling just to make one little change. That's unfortunately just what we have to live with these days. I got that song stuck in my head from the Hackers soundtrack, the one that's not on the soundtrack, the montage song. Played it at the beginning of stream, and now it's just stuck in my head. It's a Pink Floyd guitar jam session with a synthesizer in the background. That's all it is. It's so good. Oh, we're accepting because I have a window open? I do have a window open. Hold on, what's this other? Oh, so these I'm gonna get rid of. Yeah, we'll close these. These are the MIDI pad that I need to work on. I need to put 2 libraries into the MIDI pads still, and we're getting distracted by this thing just because it came in the mail. The Bluetooth engine test is the final program that runs the entire SIN wheel, and I don't think I need anything else from it. I have all of the bit sends and stuff like that. I think I'm okay. We'll open it up again if we need to. I now know where the right program is. And then these are the library things that I've opened. I'm cleaning up these windows because they keep distracting my distractible. What was I saying? and button matrix. Okay, cool. All right, so we're back. We've got the serial windows closed, and so I can hit upload, and this will actually go all the way to the Arduino. I'm also a bit messed up because all of yesterday during stream and after, I wasn't getting insulin. My glucose levels were high, but yeah, the Hacker's music selection's top tier. Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, Halcyon and on and on. Underworld Gone Slippy or something. The Voodoo People by Prodigy. So many amazing tracks in a movie that was just camp enough. Like, real hacking is just a bunch of smelly people sitting around and like in a bedroom. And I guess they did get the smelly people sitting around in a bedroom scene, one scene, during their figuring out of what was in the trash file. But they made it so camp for everything else that it is one of my favorite movies. I love it, love it, love it. Almost can quote every line. It's Halcyon and on and on. Yeah. All right. So code is loaded in. Only for our benefit. I can open up the serial port. Okay. So we are counting properly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, ABC. And then 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, F. 2, and then 3. And these are every address in the LIN bus. So now we need to double check on those addresses. Addresses. I don't know why I'm hanging on the addresses. Which one am I supposed to say? Okay, so let's start at the beginning. So whoa, we got a lot to check. 0 is 80. That didn't come through. I don't know why. Oh, it's supposed to be 0, 1. Huh. For 1, it's 1, 1, which makes C1. 1 is 4, 1. So we're not doing it correctly. I don't think we're doing the little carryover. This is also why, okay, so this is why I wasn't replying. It just so happens that when we check 3C, was it 3C? Yes, 3C. Wait, 3C is 3C. What's going on there? Oh, sorry, 1C. So we just happen to get the parity bit. You have 2 bits, two binary bits that are your parity. We happen to get it correct on this one. So now we need to actually make sure that it works. Can you run Minecraft on this Arduino? You know, you might be able to. I don't know. The OpenGL stuff would be difficult for it, but the RP2040, this is an RP2040 from Waveshare. What this has is this clever little Raspberry Pi derived RP2040. This is a decently fast microcontroller. This thing is decent. This thing is pretty good. Could it run Descent 1? It probably could run Descent 1. No, I don't know. There was something Celia Russell posted recently in the Discord, was that somebody had hooked up a graphics card to a Raspberry Pi. I don't know to what end. Or no, they hooked it up to a chipset. So maybe that could run it. You can run a Minecraft server on an ESP32. Oof. These microcontrollers are getting beastly these days. This is an old one, an old STM, but this is apparently what Open Force Feedback runs on. And it's this giant microcontroller that can probably do my homework. It's crazy. So we happen to calculate this one correctly. GPU on a Pi has been done. I love to say everything has already been done. That's where we are these days. Everything's already been done. Unless you want to put in an incredible effort to make something truly unique, or you have that one-in-a-lifetime lightning in a bottle idea. All of these maker things have already been done, and once we reconcile with that, it's this wonderful world of support for all of our various projects. So if you want to combine 2 projects, you can make a pretty unique project. Jeff Geerling, and I know that name. Why do I know the name? Recently ran the big AMD GPU on the Pi 500 on launch day. Oh my God. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. So we've got a problem. We got a checksum problem, which is obnoxious because the checksums, or rather parity bits on this thing, are calculated in the most evil way I can consider. It's not that evil, but it is kind of evil. They added a thing where you've got this carryover. I don't know if that's going to affect my baby, but how are we doing it? Are we doing the right thing? So when I calculate parity, what I do is I demonetize everything, because parity is the lowest form of copyright infringement. You are eating my data and you're profiting off of it. So I demand that those funds go to Google instead of to you, who's parodying me, and I can't take a joke. We need to look at how I'm doing this. So P0, which would be odd, unless I'm doing 6 and 7, even odd. I think that's correct. I mean, we are getting back 9C, which is working for 1C, but bit read address of 1, 3, and 5. So that's this one. 1, 3, 4, and 5. So what happens if we add in bit read of 4? Oh, the parentheses are going to drive me absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Four. Oh God, where is that on my keyboard? Shift 6. Haha. 1, 3, 4, and 5. But the problem is, it needs the thingy-wingy, this thing, this function, which I think that might happen naturally with the uint8t variable. The scope of the variable is uint8t, which is an unsigned binary number that goes up to 255, and then it loops around when it goes over. I think that might be built in. It might be baked in. No, but then they wouldn't need to put that symbol on there. There is C code for all this. Maybe I should just copy their C code. Oh, let's just look at this, because we can get this to work. Reserved frames, sporadic examples. This is, I've read this like 3 times over that little stream break that we had, and I lost my mind, and then I found it again. And the kicker on this is that we've already done all this. I should be much better at manipulating this. This is from 2006. Yeesh. So where the hell is the thing about parity? They have examples in this one, which I'm appreciating very much. A protected identifier field consists of 2 subfields, the frame identifier and the parity bits. So this would be these are the 2 parity bits right here. Or no, these are over here. 2 parity bits. At least you found it. Yeah, I found it. It was a little banged up, but 0 to 5 are the frame identifier bits, and 6 and 7 are the parity. That's probably why it only goes up to 3F. And then the addresses are broken into 3 categories, so your larger addresses have more data behind them. 3C and 6.1, so C, D, E, and F are off limits, because these are for diagnostics, which are standard, and these are for something. They haven't figured out what they want to annoy us with yet. Parities calculate the frame identifier bits shown in equations 1 and 2. So ID1, ID3, plus sign with a circle around it. Direct sum? I don't think so. Exclusive OR. So that's XOR. Or XOR, if you want to get into 1950s sci-fi. XOR. So ID1, XOR, ID3. XOR is exclusive OR. Or the aliens in Half-Life. Truth. Bring out your truth table. So it's a 0 if both of them are 0, and every other scenario it's a 1. So, oops, let's go back here. I don't even know which window is which at this point. So that's what we do there. What is this? It's like line with a thing after it. I'll just copy and paste it. I think I'll invent something today. This is it. It suddenly dawns on Joe Math in the 1800s that he's supposed to invent the not gate, and to its symbol he will give a smirk. So that's a not. So all I need to do is basically just do exclamation point of that, I think. Or I could actually do not with parentheses, right? Does that work? Yeah, that's, oh well, that might do something else. I think that works. I don't think I need a bitwise symbol on it, right? At least I found it, yeah. Oh wait, that was for the mind comment earlier, sorry. I think that does a binary not to the number. I think that's correct. We'll try it, I guess. And let's see if, oh wait, that's the wrong one. I did it to the wrong one. Oh my God. Check your brackets. Yeah, these are very annoying, aren't they? So that's bracketed, not bracketed, parenthesised. Parenthesis, parenthesis, 1, 2, 3. Oh, you know what? It might have been, no, because we didn't have an entire term in here. But that's for Lin 2.0. Our Lin 1.0, it might have been malfunctioning because of the brackets. So this is the whole expression. Oh, that doesn't, no, it's not the whole expression. Do we have an interloper? That should go all the way to the end, but it's doing nothing for me. This one goes all the way to here. Oh, because it shouldn't have two. Okay, there we go. That's so confusing. This one is actually broken too. Wait, what? Oh, I'm doing the first term in its own thing. I'm not doing them all at once. That's what's going on. I'm controlling the order. So if I do control the order, that means that these go first. Then the next one goes. Then the outside one. So now it's first term, second term, third term. I don't know why I did that. I think I'm being a little overbearing on the order of operations. We can test to see if it affects my baby. I don't know why that meme is all over my brain right now, but we can test to see if that affects the order of operations. But let's run this and see if it works. And we get the same addresses as we're supposed to in the table. It's the serial print is a little bit sloppy, but we can get it. Okay, with that said, make sure my serial window is closed. And then I put this into boot mode, so hold the boot button, hit reset, let go of the boot button, and then hit upload. The boot thing, the boot cycling makes it a little annoying to use the RP2040, but I don't know, it's going okay. I should probably swap compilers. I don't know if I want to go to Platformio or if I want to do the modern Arduino IDE. I'm not sure. I kind of like the old IDE. It's what I like. Sort of no frills. Oh, COM port not found. So hit restart again. That's this one. And then boop. Oh, no, I didn't hit reset properly. Hit that one. Why no COM port? Okay, so there's our list. So now we get to check over the list. RP2040 supports reset from USB to DFU SD mode. I don't know, man. I don't think my IDE supports that. Push the boot button, wash my hands. Turn the page, wash my hands. Okay, so looking at this guy, we're probably going to have to dissect how this thing is doing math because it's probably not right. I would be shocked if it is correct. And I don't think 00 is printing, but I think we immediately put it up to 1. So I don't think our 0 is represented correctly. Let us check. This is the height of nerdy activities, guys. Yeah, 0 should be 80, but that's not working properly. 1, C1. 2, 4, 2. 4, 2, wait, 4, 2? Why are you 4, 3? What the? 3, we get 3. Oh boy, so something's wrong. 4, C4. 4, C4. That one worked. 2 and 3 are wonky. 5, 8, 5. That one works. 6, 6. 6, 4, 6. Weird. 7. Also 7. But then it says 7, 4, 7. Wait a minute. Next one is 8. I think something's happening with the order of operations in my program. I think maybe I need to change what my program is doing here with these addresses. Like we're calculating parity after... Well, we want to address plus plus while there's no parity bits. And then my print is happening over here. I need to change this. So call the address. If we start a bit field, we run that stuff. Otherwise, we do this without a bit field. So this is not the right place for this. Oh, I guess we'll do this when we calculate. And we don't need to shift out. We can just do addy up. Because the addy up does that anyway. This is addy up. So what we'll do is we will print the previous, or we'll let it increment and then we'll print it. Oh God, that's going to lose us 0, 0. Where are we? We're here. Print before or after address up, but address up is doing the bit shifting so that it can address plus plus. If addy is equal to 3F, stop. Otherwise, I guess, yeah, we'll print it here. When this is first called, it'll be called on 0, 0, which means that this will, yeah, so it is a valid one. We're just we're gonna get rid of this, and we'll address plus plus here. This suffers from a lot of my noodling around with the software. So address plus plus, calculate the parity. So what I'll do is after address plus plus, so I don't think we're gonna get to see 0, 0, but I think that's okay. What's that? Natsu's on a 7-stream watch streak. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So we'll print here without the dots. Well, actually, I kind of do want the dots. So we'll print them down here. And then here we can just do addy in hex, but not the special hex where I get it to print every single bit. I could do that, I could run that program, but this will be fine. So we need to see if this is calculating it properly. I think there was like an order of operations error somewhere in that. So we're gonna do it every time that we increment the address because at that moment is when parity is calculated. So we get rid of the parity with some shifts. If we're 3F, we stop, but then we increment the address and then we do our print. So we're going to be missing 0. 0 is not going to come through, and it's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make in order to just see this stuff properly. So we'll do that, and then that's that. Otherwise, if I really wanted to see 0, I could just put that and the prints into the loop, but that's whatever. We'll just do it this way. because the first thing I thought of and it's wrong. So, all right, close the serial. Hold down boot, hit reset, let go of boot. I think I got the two buttons mixed up. Hold on, wait, which one's which? Okay, guys, I'm pretty sure that first one is boot. Boot. Reset. Let go. That's too many views. That's a frozen camera. That's not me. That's not, look, I'm moving my arms. He's not moving his. That's somebody else. Upload. It's my doppelganger. I need that, like, da, na, 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 that lounge song. Da, da. Here, wait. Oh, I'm looking something up. This is just for Twitch viewers. They get music. There we go. I could probably also put a technical overlay on this. Technical issue overlay. Okay, I'm gonna pause that. That was the Steam Gardens theme from Mario Odyssey, which is a little bit less loungy, but it is actually kind of pretty loungy. It's nice. It's a nice song. All right, so we run our program. Okay, and then as predicted, we are missing 0. We do not get to see 0, but we do get the rest of them, so we can check against those. And so I go back to here, and we check against our table. C1, 4-2, we get 2. 4-3, we get 3. C4, we still get C4. 8-5, we get 8-5. 4-6, we just get 6. Why are the 4s dropping? Zero, 1, 2, 4. P1 is 1, 3, 4, 5. Oh, did I knot the wrong one? I knotted the wrong one. That is not something that you should say in furry communities. Let me tell you this right now. Okay, so let's take a look at the code again. I guess that makes sense as to why it's a little bit crazy. So with even and odd, let me just double check. The force is not with the LIN bus. Sure. I don't know what that means. That's something that went above my head. Our equation, which is easy to find. Signal management, frame channel, schedule, task behavior, network management, status management. Introduction, specification, glossary, signal type. This sucks. I actually found a different write-up that explained it better. Okay, so it is even, or that's odd. But 1, 3, 4, and 5 is the one that I should be knotting. Not like that. 1, 3, 4, 5. That is the one that I'm knotting. The other one's 0, 1, 2, 4. 0, 0, 1, 2, 4. So we take this and we add a parenthesis here, and then we add 0, 1. So we add 1 to this, and we add another there. Okay, so that's this one. So it's 0, 1. That should be, wait, 0, 1. That one goes to that one, and then that one goes to the end. Okay, there. Now we got it. Parity 1 and 0 the same length. Yours is short. I should have seen that. Yeah, I should have seen that. They changed this for LIN 2.0, I think, and that's what all the extra things that I missed are. Ours is LIN bus 1.0. And yet somehow, maybe it's backwards compatible or something. We just happen to get the right address for 1C that responded to us. So my code, having been wrong for years and still somehow functioning, that's something to be studied in a lab. Maybe I'd always been missing them. And the parentheses stuff that I'm doing here, I'd like to take it out and try it, but we got to get it to work first, and then we'll see if my order of operations shenanigans were misplaced. Because boy howdy is it a lot easy when, oh, may the flute be with you. And jeez. Yikes. 0124. Oh. Yeah, 0124. Okay, that's got it. So let's see if this does it. Do I have serial window open? No. So upload. Oh wait. Boot, reset, and boot. Okay, upload. Bus shunt revision 1. I'll take a look in just a second. I've like studied these docs, so, and there is actually somewhere in all this, there is C code somewhere. I think I've run into it before, but they like, this is such an annoying pain in the ass that they provided everybody with C code in order to run their LIN-bus stuff. I thought that was kind of funny. LIN-bus shunt. That sounds like a word that we shouldn't, that sounds like a curse word. or like a slur. What is this getting at? A method for the detection of position of particular slave nodes in a LIN network. I wish they would not use that terminology, but I guess it's okay. LIN network equal built slave. They really should listen. There's a lot of controversy around the terminology master and slave in electronics, because in electronics, it's different. It's not subjugating a person to another's will. It's actually, you know, you have something that is supposed to control something, and so you call that the master. And if we want to get away from that terminology, I mean, fine, it's just grammar. I'm willing to call things other things all the time. I know you guys as your screen names, for instance. I don't care. I've seen more controversy around this neighborhood misgendering my dog than using pronouns. Ooh, stupid. So I'm willing to rename master and slave, and the only one that I will accept is dom and sub, because the sub listens to the dom. So if we are replacing master and slave, I will be saying dom and sub. Thank you for your attention to this matter. This document is intended to describe a method of the detection of positions of a particular slave node in a LIN network. So I guess that's just how to get the subs to talk to you. How do you get subs to talk to you? I would like this. I'd like to know this very much. Whoa. This is a bus architecture document. So this is the physical architecture. We've already got this running. Like this is what we have. The ASICs are what the little UART modems points that we're installing are what's getting it. And this is referring to the LIN documentation, which is what we have up already. Sandwich and baguette. That one's not as readily recognizable. I'll accept it though. Had me in the first part. I don't know what I'm getting out of this document, and I kind of want to get back to what we're doing. Oh, so this is the setup. How it actually goes about telling the other node what to do. This might be useful very much later on. Yeah, we're not quite here yet. Output node and input node. So SPI is, oh, I see, okay. Output and input node. I guess that works. There's a bunch though. I don't know if it's really been settled on. This was 2006. It was a different time. None of the cells in my body were the same cells that I have now. Snuppy. I still have that open. Okay, so double check that we're doing the right thing. We uploaded the code. Let's run. This only runs when the serial port opens. So we go back up and we check it against the table. we're trying to iron out the little bits of wrinkles that I have left in the old programs. It turns out that our parity bits were being calculated correctly, but in the wrong way. The answer was correct, but the method was wrong. And so if we are going to brute force to try to figure out what this button pad is going to respond to, we need to get this part correct. This is just the revision 1.0 of the document, not the one that referred to in the 2x documents. Why are so many people upset over tech words? Because words are bigger than just words. That's why it is. C1, 4.2, 3. That's a boring one. 4, where I lost my place. 3, C4, 8.5, 6. This is looking good. 4.7, 8. 4.9, CA, I don't have to check the whole thing. Let's go way down here. 2D, or not to D. AD, 2D, AD, 2 to added. 3.0, FO. Ooh, it's being feisty. 3.0, FO. I think we did it. 3 FBF. 3 FBF. Sweet. We finally got it to work. Now let's break it. So now I'm going to get rid of all the parentheses. Where did my code go? Where did my code go? It's right there. Okay, so now get rid of this crap. Except I'm still going to need one around this whole thing. And then get rid of the interlopers. And we'll see if it calculates it the same way. I don't need the one around the whole expression. And I'll hit Control-Z a bunch if it doesn't work. All right, so let's try that. Serial window. Oh. Hey, what's up, Mahal? All right, so let's try that. Upload. Oh, wait. There, okay. Got it in time. Before it even started to compile. Pin and socket. I guess that's still gendery, but it's okay. I don't know. The male and female master slave, those are the ones that are kind of controversial now. Expected parentheses before token. Oh, whoops. I'll put them both in one big parenth. It just makes the code line up a little better. Upload. Those meetings have muffin to do with tech. I'm so old, I'll be quiet. Yeah, it's all right. I don't know. It's like I don't care. Like as long as the terminology that you're using infers what they're doing. So that's why you know, sending node and receiving node that can do. I think dom and sub is actually the perfect terminology. It's just I don't think it'll catch on. There we go. Okay. And then we go back to our table and we see where we lie. 3 FBF, that's a good sign. 3 FBF, scroll up. 10 CA. 10 is 50. Oh, it's supposed to be 50. I misread. The font is very small. Yeah, controller peripheral, that works. Eagles, Cowboys, you know, that works too. 1E, 5E, correct. Okay, so it looks like it still works. The internet stopped interneting and I came back to Kink Talk. All right, so let's see. So that works. We're now calculating proper parities. So now we can actually parity. So we can actually speak to devices. It just so happened that before with the previous calculation, and it might have been that Lin 1.0 is a different equation, but we happened to get the right parity for the device by accident. So now we're actually properly communicating. We can actually run this thing and see whether or not we get a response from the new device. So now I'm going to plug, I guess, not just the new device, or should I plug both of them in? Or I could plug one of them in and just see if we respond to any of these things, but we do need to get rid of the last 4 addresses on our thing, because those last 4, they're reserved for special functions. Those are like diagnostic addresses. Been so lost the past 3 years, nothing has the same definition anymore. I can't keep up. You do the best you can, and as long as your intent is good, you'll be fine. So this is if we get if bit start. That's under print readout. What am I doing here? Okay, hold on. Let's so first of all, I'm going to get rid of these. And then we're calculating the parity bits, and we're doing it correctly now. And then 0 is in fact a valid address, so this whole block of code is gone. And I'm never looking back. If we get to 3F, so this is actually... No, I don't have a today command. See, the annoying thing is... No, we keep the while one. We keep the while one, because we're done when we reach this address. That's part of the addy up. I should probably split out these functions to other things. This has kind of been like a sort of haphazard thing. But what we're trying to do today is we are hacking into a button. It's just this right here. This is the headlight switch for a BMW F10 series, this is a 5 series headlight switch. I don't think it has ambient light sensor in it, which I'm kind of disappointed in, but this is going into my simulator setup. I'm putting this into this giant seated railed thing back here behind me. I'm doing like the pog. So in order to get these things to speak to us, in order for this to function as a switch, they have made everything on cars these days digital. And so what they're doing is they have this special protocol called the LIN bus that this thing speaks, so that you only have 3 wires and all these different functions on the thing with only 3 wires. It's power and then something called LIN bus. LIN bus is a 1-wire protocol where a bus dom, the bus dominatrix, sends a command to all of the bus subs, and the bus subs look to see if that address matches their particular address, and it responds with the status of things. This wheel we are able to talk to and see the statuses of all of its buttons because the master requests it. And then it tells it to go jack off in a Taco Bell bathroom or something, because it's a DOM sub thing. Anyway, so yeah, here we go. We've got the ability to create the parity bits so that we can actually speak to all of the slave and master is the terminology. I just making jokes because those can get kind of controversial. Sorry, Walrus. I replace dom and sub with master slave. It's just my own terminology for master slave. People don't like saying, you know, hey man, I'm having a problem with all of my slaves, you know, calling up customer support about their LIN bus. So the terminology should shift somewhere, and I've decided personally that it should be dom and sub. But anyway, addy up is probably doing a lot more than we should have it do. Addy up should just do this. And then I'm stopping it here because I don't want to keep hammering away at the addresses. I just want to make sure, I just want to see if we can figure out what the address of this button panel is, right? You said my activation words. Manchurian candidating my chat. Candidating? What a ding 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 meow meow. 4 eyes equal blah blah blah. Okay, so this is how we were getting the wheels information into the thing. But what we're going to call is bus check, and then we delay 30 microseconds. Bro's a sleeper agent. Yeah. Call address of addy. If we get a bit start from it, then we need to do, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do, but then wait, is it even, serial prints isn't running addy up. Call address, if bit start, do the serial prints, and then go to the next one. This is calling another function, which is really annoying. It was from a larger program. It's a little convoluted. See, but then here we're printing the success. So why are we even doing this program? So instead I'm doing it up there, and we're just not gonna have print readout at all. Yeah, see, it used to do all this stuff. So I'm not gonna run serial prints at all. I'm just gonna print success if there's a bit start, and then I run addy up. So addy up has the finish clause, and then bus check runs call address. If there's a bit start, we say success, and then we're going to addy up anyway until we get to that address. I don't know why the delay's in there either. Wheel of I is equal to get bits. I should keep that in there, just for when we want to actually print this in the Arduino. They're complaining about parent and child terminology too, and calling programmers, geez. I wouldn't take these people too seriously. They're all cuckoo. Yeah, I guess so. Then I run giddy up. All right, let's upload this one. Serial's closed. Yeesh. Then I run boot, reset, let go. What's my glucose level doing? I'm feeling kind of hyperglycemic. That was not the right one. Oh, horses aren't real. Oops, that's the frozen camera. That's not the right one. There it is. 200. All right, it's coming down though. Unlike yesterday when it hung around all afternoon in the 200s, and I didn't know that my nausea yesterday was actually a symptom of diabetic ketoacidosis. I was on the brink. And I think because I took the 2 dogs for a run, that probably helped me keep myself from going diabetic ketoacidosis. But I was there, man. I was going to have a bad time. I want to double check that the pins are the pins too. We're eliminating all of the variables that we could possibly have. Let's just make sure this thing runs its code. Oh, port not found. Reset. Okay, so it's still printing. Oh, we can get rid of the print thing that we did. We just want to print the address that it's checking. So we want, where are we? We're in addy up. Addy plus plus. Wait, where my prints go? Oh, here. No, those aren't it. What the hell? Am I going crazy? There's a lot of functions in here that we're not using. I gotta clean this program out. Whew. I thought I put prints here, but they're not. So why is it still printing? Bus check, call address, delay. So we're bus check, call address. Call address is doing the complicated stuff down here with the timings and sending a break and doing all that stuff. After call address, we check to see if there's data coming back, in which case we print success. But then we up the address. Otherwise, we just up the address. Maybe I don't need to up the address if it's in both of those. We could just get rid of this. There were all kinds of conditions on the other one. So here we just, if that, then we print success. And that's that. And then we just address it up. So we run addy up. We shift out the parity. If it's 3F, then we stop because we're done. Otherwise, we plus it, and then we calculate the parity. Did my code not error opening serial port? Maybe my code didn't go in. Oh, well, now it's not serial printing. Okay, so maybe that did it. Either way, okay, it's a little cleaner now anyway. I'm just going to save. I won't upload. So am I capturing this before serial starts? Yes, while not serial. So even if I don't have a serial printout going, I need to open the serial port. But we also just need to print the address that it's calling. So call address ADDI and then serial print ADDI in hex. And I guess I'll make it a print line. Or I can do that, and then before we call ADDI up, I can and just do that. Else print no suck. No, that's stupid. Yeah, okay, so that'll do what we want it to do. And I will get this thing into boot. And then hit upload. Use sprintf to make a string to print. Oh, so it prints the zeros? Does that work? I have a whole program at the bottom of this program that prints the zeros. I should try that. I should try that. Okay, so that printed. And then this is just checking. It's not putting the dots in or anything. It's just very unfancy. So if I did... Let's try that. Sprintf has some powerful features for printing numbers. I've used it before, I just don't remember. And we're on an RP2040, so I think it's supported. It wasn't supported with the STM32s. It did not like it. I don't know if this supports it. Well, it highlighted it though. But I don't know if the RP2040 supports sprintf. Did you mean printf? String to store in, test, variable, hex, okay, woof. You need a buffer. She's upstairs. She's sleeping by the front door. She has not been barking a lot today because her buddy's not around. I mean, I could do printf, but I could just do serial print as well. I'm just going to keep it. Let's just keep it simple. Let's just keep it simple, all right? I'm not going to mess around with this stuff right now. Some things are not exactly supported back and forth, so. Blah, 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 blah. This should be a functional program. Let's check to see that we are printing the right signals too. So right now, nothing's happening. If I open the serial port, oh, is it already open? No, it's not open. It just can't find COM3. Let's reset. And then I open the serial port. Okay, so we are sending the addresses. And that's all of the addresses that are involved with LinBus. So now I want to pop this thing open and I want to take a look inside and I want to absolutely unequivocally verify that we are doing the right things on the right pins, right? Yeah, sorry. Look, I love the programming suggestions because you guys are way smarter than me with this stuff. But sometimes there are little catches that, you know, one microcontroller does one thing, one IDE does another, that you can say, well, I know this works with Arduino, but you're not using my IDE and the cores that I have, and it's all the specifics, all the stuff that varies from thing to thing. So I try to keep it like really universal. I don't want to get too specific with things. And so just struggling with the proclivities of printf is enough for my purposes. Everybody's different, and that's okay. It's not okay, actually. Okay, so this thing is all on this little circuit board. Oops. It's pretty decently made. We got a 16-bit 5G1 blah 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 SCIJ something, or this is an 8-bit micro, I think, because it's 08 instead of 16. Anyway, this is the LIN bus transceiver, and then those 3 pins are where LIN bus comes in. So one of these pins, the center one, goes up to that test point, and then it comes over, and then it goes anywhere. Pin 1 with the box around it, and then pin 3, which goes to this big plane. Now, is this a ground plane? This circuit board has gigantic diodes on the plus and minus, and the purpose of those is to protect the circuit. Part of the automotive electronics spec dictates, penis potatoes, that you be able to connect your electronics backwards without harming the car. Because could you imagine the fallout of accidentally plugging your battery in backwards to your entire car and thousands of little devices like this blow up? And that's why I'm just chilling, listening while painting my nails. The Reddit lacquerists have come up quite a bit lately on my feed. And you know what? I don't mind it, because when it came up on my feed, it turns out some of the nail polishes out there are ferromagnetic. They're really sparkly ones. And so what these ladies were doing is getting these magnets and putting them on something that spins the magnet, and you paint your nail and then spin the magnet over your nail for a while, and it makes like a cool iridescent pattern thing on the nail polish. Pretty cool. I started on Arduino and ended up at compiler level, I can't talk, compiler level STM32 using the STM32 cube code. Yeah, that's what I did for the mutable instruments stuff. That was, it was a lot. Yeah, apparently it's with the spinning magnets. I'm sure there's some really cool stuff that we could come up with to spin magnets better over nails. I don't paint my nails though, so it's never gonna come up for me, but you do some pretty neat stuff with magnets. I don't know, you gotta check out the subreddit. I guess it was a trend. It's probably still going, but you'd have to like do a little sleuthing. Okay, so what I see initially is that this pin with the box on it, what I've been looking at is the pin with the box around it. This one. Pin with the box around it goes to, and you can kind of see the trace there, the anode of a diode. Although I don't see the cathode going, cathode to anode there. You even know more about me than nail polish. It just came up in my feed. I can't help the knowledge that I'm exposed to. I'm a product of my environment. Effects, I'll look it up later. Nice. Find a cap and test using diode mode. Yeah. Well, I hate diode mode. I dislike it very, very much. But we do have a big tantalum capacitor over here. These are pretty sensitive though. I'm surprised they're using it in the automotive application. So I use ohms exclusively. I do not like the diode mode. Diode mode is just for measuring the voltage of diodes. Ohms can tell you whether or not your trace is connected, and it'll also give you an idea if you're going through a resistor. You can also get a sense of distance from it. There's a lot of really amazing uses for the ohms mode when you're trying to figure out if something is a coherent trace, coherent connection. But so the cap is probably going to a universal ground, and so I can just hit up the back of the... Nice Poopsie, now I'm getting ideas in my head. What did Poopsie say? Sometimes I'll superglue a tiny magnet to my fingernail when I'm working in super loud environments with lots of motors. You can feel if a motor's running without touching it. Weird. You should probably not be touching motors while they run though. That may be the root of the problem. Okay, so this third pin here is ground. So ground thingy. Did I label them correctly? I did. plus LIN bus and then ground. And LIN bus we did trace all the way back to the transceiver, so that does actually connect. It goes through some signal stuff first, some little analog electronics. So we did get it right. We did get it right. I was just surprised that there was no current draw at all from the device. And this node probably would respond to a data field for backlighting. And I don't know how we would figure that out. Yeah, people get magnets surgically implanted into their fingers. And I say people, I think there's two examples, but they surgically implant a little tiny magnet, and then your feeling is so sensitive that you can actually feel the magnetic field around power and see if that line is hot. You actually feel just a little pull. You're submitting yourself to never ever going near an MRI ever again. So I worked in 3-phase motors, and we made rattle wands, a ring magnet on a string on a stick. That's cute. That's pretty cool. All right, I gotta get that lined up so I don't damage the pins. Hello? There we go. Okay, so we do know which one is which. And then I am going to turn off the power supply. Actually, I'll remove 12 volts. So I'm not powering this right now, because this will go to sleep in 4 seconds. So we have 4 seconds to run our program and see whether or not this thing will talk to us. So this would be the center pin. This one goes on the LIN bus and the scope. This one is that pin, which is power. It's here. And then this one is ground, which goes to ground, which is here. Wait a minute. Hold on a sec. Oh, it's like right next to it. That's why. Okay, there. Just like that. Okay, so LIN bus, power, and ground. We're all connected. And I'll take power back over, and then I'll open up the serial port with my other. And let's open up the scope. All right. Oops, I didn't do that properly. Wait, why isn't that running? Oh, do I have to reset? It's probably still in the while one state. Yeah, I have to hit reset on it. Actually, what I can do is just open up the serial port and hit reset on the thing, and that should run the program. Let's just test that before everything's hit reset. No, it doesn't see the serial port's open. Yeah, so I have to restart the serial port every time. So I'll just hit reset ahead of time, and then I'll hook this thing up to the LIN bus, or to power. And that would be, I gotta make sure I get it right. Hold on. 4 seconds on the clock. What? We got sucked. It's printing out the, okay, 0, 1, 2. So we actually did get a response. We got a response. We figured it out. It's 2. Unfortunately, our program was printing out the wrong thing. We were printing out the full thing, which puts us back on the chart. But we did talk to it. So is this one. 4-2. So now let's make it just print out 4-2 over and over again. So let's get rid of, stop sucking, and let's get rid of call address 0x2. So steering wheel is 1C. And then two. How easy is that? We actually hacked into it, folks. That was the big moment. Just that little printout from the serial feed was everything that we needed. Super crazy, super cool stuff. So now I am just going to overwrite everything, and every time we are going to call the address to. Now, actually, we're going to, what are we doing here? Serial print the address and hex Not on my watch. And we can get rid of this. We'll just do, because I do have to open the serial port, so I should just put like, print line, and we'll just say calling. I'm hitting all the wrong keys. Yeah, this is all the program's doing here. And really the address upper should be like up here, but whatever. 0x02 goes into call address. Call address, byte, addy. And then it's going to do all that stuff, and it'll call that address every single time. Is it going to, it's not going to calculate parity. So we're not 02, we are 42. We're calling 42. The calculator is not useful here. Okay, 42. I mean, you could put these all in a big table too and just call them as a big table. All right, so reset, thingy, thingy. And then no serial ports open, upload. So now we're gonna look on the oscilloscope and see what kind of data we get back from this thing. Yeah, I could do a timer or something, but I actually like this because it makes me initiate the program. In this, it's actually, oh, what did I do? Println. This evolved from other techniques and stuff that I saw in other programs, so this hasn't been gone through for like a sanity pass. In the end, are you going to say mess with the best and die like the rest? What'd your mommy buy you a pewter for Christmas? All right, we flashed. Open this up. No COM port. Hit restart. Calling 42. Oh, we got a response. Oh, it finished. I didn't. I am allowing it to count up. Nah. Okay, there. Whoops-a-daisy. It's, I mean, I could also just keep it from calling Addy up. Now we're just calling 42 and waiting 30. This whole program is just that. I've taken everything out. Reset, boot, reset. And then serial monitors closed, upload. The use of the serial monitor in conjunction with it being an RP2040 make it so that I have to do the weird boot reset buttons. I don't know how to get around that. If there's a setting that I can do that'll make me able to just throw code at this thing without having to do the little button dance for the RP2040. There probably is a way. Okay, so now it's just hammering away at that code and we can see the binary. And is it really responding? It is not responding. Why did we think that we got a response from this one? 42 said suck, didn't it? Maybe we should call 3 and see if it responds. And then are we actually, oh, you know what? It may not be 42. No, it is 42. 4-2. But for some reason it said suck. It said success. Could that have just been a fluke? Yeah, because that's definitely, there's no data there. The last bit is our sync down there. So let's try calling 01. 01 is 80. And then do the dance. And serial, did I close it? I closed it. And let's upload that. I'm checking around for the other ones just in case we addressed up and didn't hit the right thing. What I really should do is go through this code and just rip out everything that's not needed because there's a lot of stuff. Okay, and then it flashes. I hit restart. I hit the serial port, calling 1. 1 is not responding to anything. Okay. Which is 80. Okay, close that. Calling 3. 3 is 401. Oh, wait, no, I should have called 01. 01 is C1. Oh, whoops. This is going to take a little bit. 80C142. Yeah, so the next one's 3, but we'll try this first. Calling 1, and then we do the reset dance. And then upload. Yeah, starting a new program is a good way to do it. I do that often. I'll start a new program and just move over the sections that I'm using. What's funny is my copy of Hackers I got out of a cereal box. I haven't watched the movie in ages. It's one of my favorite movies. I think I watched it 2 weeks ago. So good. It's so camp and stupid. I love it. All right. Wrote everything ready. Don't think this will work. Yeah, I gotta reset. And then open that up. And now we're calling C1 and we're not getting a response. Okay, so why do we get a response when we hit 02 on the other program? Let's try 03 maybe. That doesn't make any sense. That would be like time travel. Let's run the thing again and see what happens. So we're gonna call address Addy. It's the order of operations going on here. I mean, it's like calling this address and then it ups the variable. But when I up the variable, that's when I'm doing the serial printing, which is not the right order. So this comes down here and this will only print I'm finished. We call the address here and then increment it. That'll be with the parity in there. Or I could get rid of the parity and then print it down here. But okay, we'll just do. We'll just interpret it as the parity containing addresses, like we did before. So now we do all of our functions here. We call the address and then we increment the address. And the incrementer, when it stops, is when it hits 3F and it says I'm done. Except this, I'm going to take out. No, I'm going to put that back in. Never mind. This is the part that kind of messes me up. It's because you want to increment the non-parity containing text or hex value, right? You don't want to up 4C because then it'll be 4D. You want to up 3 into 4, and then you put the parity back on it. And I guess that's just so detecting it here is where we see if we're done. So I guess that works. So all right. Code works. It seems like we're okay. But we're not. We're not okay. We're not actually okay. This is a cry for help. Okay, so I'm gonna do bada bing, bada bang, bada boom, and then I'm gonna upload the code, and then it's gonna tell me that I forgot a parenthesis. We gotta wait for that though. Why not get input from serial so the program can just run and you can type addresses into serial? I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. I guess I could do that, but I've not interacted with serial inputs very much, and so I find it a little bit confusing. So instead, I prefer to waste a lot of my time. I have Sneakers on the shelf. Sneakers would be the more accurate hacking movie. Yeah, see this time. Oh, I don't have it plugged in. Right. Okay. So now I can plug it in and I can hit reset on it and then open the serial port again. So, and now number one, the Larch. So plug it in, hit reset, and then open the serial port within 4 seconds. Okay. So this time we did not get a hit, which is discouraging. Do I have it printing success if I get something back? You should search it, short circuit, yeah. Serial print line, address hex, addy up, and then print I'm finished. Yeah, oh, we need this back. So addy up goes back down here. And our serial print goes back in. That was just for interpreting values that come back. All right, let's try that again, because we might have gotten a response and just not seen it. I rewrote your code, your parity code into a procedure. Oh, you just learned about hex? That's cool. I gotta work with my own code. I really enjoyed learning about hex a couple of months ago. Yeah, hex representation of ones and zeros and thinking on that level is kind of a tough thing. There's a lot to it. Oops, what happened? Java, thingy. Port name, com3, method name, set events. What's going on here? This is uploading, but I've got a bunch of Java errors. What's going on? Do I have the serial port open? I do not. Did I? Supposedly that ran? No, I think that's running the other. Okay, so let's hit 1, 2, release, and hit upload again. That's why the x86 is a parity flag. Warzaber's coding. I'm coding! Okay, there we go. And then I hit reset. And the device might be asleep, so we may have to run this twice. Oh, but we got sucked again. 4-2, then we get sucked, and then we do C4. Wait, why does it say suck 3? Wait, why is it, huh? What, huh? Why, what? Where are you coming from? "3F, I'm finished." And then it's stuck. Is there like a rogue serial print? It was print instead of print line. Oh, so before 3, it's, I see. Yeah. Okay, good call. Thank you. Because suck is not a print. So it's definitely 42. 42 and it gets a suck. Wait, I'm 40. That's my age. Okay, serial print Addy. So in this case, we're going to call 0x42, or we could just put 42 as the address and not call Addy up. I'll just do it outside like that. Then buttons. Or was it the other way around? I think I got that wrong. Close serial. It's boot, reset, let go of reset, let go of boot. And I think I did that backwards. Maybe think of the old cipher code things I did as a kid. It's weird, so delighted. Yeah, when I was learning about a similar experience that I had learning about what's called key lock, KEEYLOQ, apparently $1 million code, and it was 2 lines of code, but the car companies paid like $1 million for it. It's what the unlocking stuff did in your car. It's the code system. So you have a private key and a public key, and those were put through 256 rounds where you just flip around ones and zeros, and that apparently made the wireless locking systems in cars secure for many, many years. They figured out what the private keys were by looking at the current consumption of the unlocking device. It turns out when ones and zeros are being processed inside of the silicon, they have slightly different current draws, and it's very tiny little variances in current draw as it's deciphering this code, and they were able to use that to decode what the private keys were. Insane type of stuff to do, but it was cryptological researchers doing it. And they said, we got your codes, and then people can now get into my Subaru. I don't have a Subaru, but I'm saying that's what they were doing. They were getting into Subarus by using the key lock thing. But the key lock thing, again, 2 lines of code that runs 256 rounds, transmits. It doesn't transmit in the code, but when that's transmitted, it does the opposite with the same data, 256 rounds, and it's decoded. And then there's also like a code window of thousands and thousands of key presses where it'll take a couple in advance and then it'll reject the rest. So if you're within like 200 key presses, you have to press your keys a second time and then it'll unlock, and it'll update the round that it's on because it keeps track of that. So if you send it a bad code, you can sync it to the opposite side of the wheel, and the person trying to get in their car would have to hit their key like 600 times. Malicious hackers are crazy. They'll bite your head if you're wearing steak on it. Look at all the data that we're getting back. Wait a second. And we don't even need to see the serial on this port. Checksum's changing. Bop, bop, bop. Ha! We did it. We hacked it. That's, wait, you're not doing anything. Why ain't you do nothing? This is the only one that we got back. How do we know? We'll zoom out a little bit and just see. Oh, there's a lot more data here. Oops, let's move the wrong one. Whoa, that's a big boy. You're a big boy. Oh, there it is. Right there. Is there any ambient light? No, it's dropping a couple of them. Seems to be dropping a few here and there. It's too bad we don't have ambient light, though. I would have liked to have that. So there's the bits for the headlight switch. Is that a whole checksum going? Oh no, there it is. That's the brights button. Cool. And then other stuff, there's probably other data in this portion here. I wonder. That's probably something that's controlled. I can't believe there's no ambient light on this. The ambient light sensor is probably somewhere else. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Ambient light might be a feedback option, so you may have to send the signal. But there's only one address that this thing is responding to. We had it run through all of them, and we only got a response for one, so... And also, there's no sensor. We don't see the sensor on this thing. We looked at the electronics. The other headlight switches, like the European model, there's like just a little dot of clear plastic, and then there would be a photodiode inside of it. We don't have that. We didn't see that on this. It's too bad, really. Oh, the ambient light system is part of the rear view mirror. See, in BMW, the auto headlight sensor was on this switch in the previous models, and maybe on some of the newer models, but... Oops, I messed up my face cam. Hold on. Pretty good. I hit the focus button by accident, trying to get this thing in focus. I don't see. Yeah. This is a lot of data coming back off of this thing for just a couple controls, but at least now we can get all of our data out of this thing. It's pretty cool. I wonder what these guys are. These little, I mean, the stop bits, but then why is this one FE instead of FF? What am I doing? I'm moving the wrong... All right. You know what? Vorzaber. It's... FE, F, FE, F. I guess that's just how it does. That's what I was going for. All right, so I guess we need to read this data into the microcontroller now. That's so cool that we got it to work. Because I'll just read the entire thing every time and just store that. I could do a parity check on it, but I've never found that to be strictly necessary. That is so cool. Super, super cool. So my other question is whether or not we can actually get the backlight to turn on this thing. I don't know where to start with that. Because this is 2. LIN bus address 2. So if I send it 1 or 0 and put data in the fields, I wonder if that'll do anything. Usually the first bit, well, it used to be the first bit would tell you the size of the signal, but I think it's dictated by the address. I'm having spaghetti in Arabiata. I don't know how to say that. It tastes so good, but I'm going to hate myself later. Ah, yes. It's addressed to yes, but send data. No, you're not. When you call this address, this thing responds with this. So if you give it data, that's not, I don't think that's how that works, right? It means angry sauce. It's crushed red peppers. That sounds awesome. So because I think it would be down for me to just guess what the address is going to be. I don't know if these will both be on the same LIN bus. They probably will, just to save on microcontrollers, just so I don't have 60 microcontrollers. So we'll have a micro that'll read back all the data and then poop out CAN bus on another line. But this, I guess it's not on demand, because if you just hook this thing up and press the buttons, we didn't see any activity from it. If I stop the LIN bus calls by undoing the enable pin and we change data, yeah, see, there's no replies. Wait, that was something. Hold on a minute. I got to do this quickly before it goes to sleep. Channel 1 trigger, whenever it goes low, there is. Whenever it changes, it calls. Yeah. I think. Oh, it's just when the headlights change. Okay, if this changes enough, I think it calls. Or is it just asking if anybody's there? That's an important event, so it calls when that happens. Okay. It'll occasionally do that. Brights are not an important enough event for it to call. So this is an immediate event. That's an immediate event if you move it enough. Why did it just do it again? Wait, what if I don't do anything? Okay, it's not doing anything. Move this. I think it requests, yeah, it requests multiple times because it hasn't been pulled for a status change. But these two are not important enough for anything. These don't call it. It's when you turn the lights on or off. It does a call again, and then we're back to sleep. And that's part of the LIN bus thing. Call again, back to sleep. Okay, so that was me hitting the enable button. The enable switch. I got to get the jumper back for that. It's over here. Put enable back to 5 volts. I figured the best way to stop us from talking was to undo the enable pin, but now we got to redo it, which is annoying. Put like a switch on that. So one thing I wanted to play around with, now that we know that communication is there, is the sleep command, sleep code. Hold on, I gotta move the trigger down to channel 2. There we go. So now our signal is stable and we've got data coming back, so I could at this point implement the converter that I want to, where all it's doing is polling the two devices and figuring out what the data values are coming back. I could implement that and it would be rudimentary, but it would actually work just fine for the simulator. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing, but there is a system on this thing where if the electronics have gone to sleep and I move it, it will pull back to the bus master. And it would be kind of nice to have these things able to just sleep and not consume current all the time, even though I don't think this one's going to be a heavy hitter in terms of consuming. I guess you could see the voltage regulator. That's where I've been holding it though, so that's probably where that heat's coming from over in the thermal cam. I'm just looking at this right here. I think that's where I've been holding on to it. How cool is that though? We got to hack this thing and we've gotten into it. I'm in. Hackers could get into your light switch. Just my big question now is, how do I get the backlight to turn on? There's no like standard LIN bus messages and they can be reassigned, but there's got to be like a message that is sent from the bus master to the thing in order to turn on the backlight. And so I am driven in the direction of looking at the chair once again. I think what I need to do, because that'll only give it to me for the BMW. I mean, we don't know what BMW versus Mercedes would do for their backlight code. I really want to find out what that is though. And I think a good way to find it would be to hook up to the LIN bus from a BMW device. Sorry, I'm like swallowing and stuff. I had a supermarket, a little piece of a supermarket hoagie Italian hoagie for lunch. So it's a little challenge for my stomach. Busmaster and Tunnel Keeper. You could Blaster Master too. Master Blaster. Dun 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 dun. So, like, this is the only signal that we're sending right now. There are probably other signals that would be sent on a traditional LIN bus. And in order to determine what those signals are, I think what I need, Will is back at the barking again. I need a Busmaster. And I think this might be a Busmaster, maybe. There's like a power line that goes into the computer that's 5 volts, supposedly to power up the buttons that this thing communicates with, but let's just take a look at the F10 diagram again. I don't remember. We had a web page that gave us all that information, and I probably should have taken a closer look at it, because that would have had the types of buses. BMW F10 seat computer diagram. Yeah, this might help us. E70X5 drive, wiring diagrams, body, seats, seat ventilation, driver's side. None. Oh my God. Seat adjustment. I don't think that's going to do it. That's just going to be the motors and stuff. Plus, we have all these pixels. Dat Deets! How's it going, Dat Deets? What was that for? That was a Prime for 79 months. Heck yeah. Oh, let me just check Streamlabs. I want to check Streamlabs, see what's going on. I love garlic bread sticks. I'm going to toss some in the oven. Hell yeah. I could use some garlic bread right about now. Italian food is my favorite food group. I've been doing a lot of Asian food recipes lately. Having fun with that. I got a chili oil that's particularly spicy, and what I need to do is make the noodles that, who was it? It was, in the Discord, they were mentioned. I forget what the noodles are called. I think it started with a Z, but it was, Dang it, I'm just trying to give a username to this. Oh no, they're in streamer mode. So Claw Arcade, who had a stream where you could operate an arcade machine remotely from Twitch. Zoodles? Yes, noodles, but they start with a Z. Okay, so the last activity was a Demethyl from like a day ago. So Dr. Plugger, thank you for some activity on my stream. Those gnats reaching a streak. Lao Gan Ma. No, that wasn't. It was like, I forget what the name was. It was something that Claw Arcade mentioned. Hey, he said it was like a unique taste that he's never tasted anywhere before, and it was some kind of like a lo mein. It was like kind of like dan dan noodles, but with like mustard things in it. And I found a recipe and I ordered some of the components of it. And I tasted one of the components of it, and I was like, I don't think this is right. But I need to get back to, like, I don't have a wok. I do have a wok that I might be able to use, but I can just do it in a pan and mix all the ingredients, because I think I have got all the right stuff. Want to do that with a Furby? At some point, I got the project going. I got a Furby sitting over there, too, that we need to do unholy things to. We'll figure that out at some point. I can make it kind of like a co-host if we can get in there with an ESP. Active seat, driver's side. These are on the TIS system, huh? Lumbar support. Valve block for the lumbar support. Driver's side active seat. Pressure distributor. Oh, is that to tell? No, there's a motor in it. What the hell is this? Like massage. Central control switch. Heating air conditioning system. There's just a junction box in between. Rear power distribution. Driver's side switch. I'm seeing if we've got a LIN bus running to it. That's lumbar support, and that's ventilation. This is a different topic of discussion. This is not what I'm looking for. It's all so complicated. Switch combination for seat adjustment. That. What is that? Seat heating. Driver's seat without diagnostic capability. No. I'm looking for the button cluster that adjusts things to see if it's LIN bus. Because in that case, that'll also have a backlight on it, I believe. And so it's possible that there would be a packet associated with the thingy-majig with the backlight that's sent out on that bus. This is just to get to the big connector. 12 volt ground, ignition, backlight input. I don't think that's the case. This is not. Yeah, that's a different seat. Because I think it's sent over something else. Zara soba? Yeah, I don't know. Cold soba? Hold on. Mustard, like shoots or something like that? Mustard seed chili oil. That's not the right one. Pickled mustard. Mid-flavored garlic noodles. No. Cold yibbin. Oh, it might be yibbin style. No, I don't think that's right. Hold on. Mustard egg? What the? Oh, mustard and egg. There's no comma. With mustard greens. I'm trying to figure out what they're called. Hold on one sec. Pickled mustard green noodles. I don't want the... It is yibbin style. Y-I-B-I-N style. Yibbin, it's supposed to be very spicy. A nutty Sichuanese style. Sichuan. I don't pronounce things right. Chili oil and preserved mustard greens. That's what it is. Chili oil and preserved mustard greens. For yibbin style noodles. I need to make that. I need to also remember that because it took a little bit of Googling for me to remember what the hell I was thinking of. How's it going? Is the wheel hacked? The wheel is hacked and the switch is hacked. That's what you're looking at right here is actually the packet that describes the switch positions on this panel. And we've discovered that if this thing is in sleep mode, if there's no call to it and it goes to sleep, it will wake up only if you turn the headlight switch. The fog lights and the backlight control will not put out a wake-up pulse. And that wake-up pulse is supposed to be if the whole system goes to sleep and you update one of these, it'll wake up the master and then the master pulls it for its positions. Miss all the good stuff. Yeah, the thing suggested by, who was that? I'm scrolling up on chat. Dark Sprite 26 put it in the way that what I should have done at the beginning of this is just moved pieces of that program over to a new program so that we didn't have all of that sort of mush all around what we were doing, because I was working within the confines of how the weird program worked, and that weird program came from a much more complicated program that I moved over to the brute forcer, and it had bad timing numbers, it had some weird logic to it and stuff. So what we did is we checked to see that we were calculating parity bits correctly across the whole spectrum of numbers, and it turns out whatever the hell I coded before was doing the parity correct, but just for the number that would activate the wheel. Weird. So we updated it all, we got it fixed and working, and then we ran it, and it worked. And we got a response on O2. This thing is LIN bus position 2, which is the third position. The 0, 0 is 1, 2. It's just right now we're just talking about how I might go about figuring out what the backlight command is. And I know it's not going to be the same for the two of these things. These are not going to be the same command. There is an address where if I put it out onto the LIN bus, it will affect the amount of light that the LEDs are pumping out. But I don't know what it is, and I don't have a car to scan to figure it out. I do have a seat computer, and the seat computer specifically has a plug that goes to the controls for the seat. And I think that's LIN bus, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. just do a Hail Mary. LIN bus headlight driver module. BMW headlight fault. LIN bus functional description. This one's a trap. I've opened this up about 25 times. Actually, we do have this open in another window. So this is just a tech explanation of how LIN bus works. And it doesn't get low level enough for us to actually get signals. Ooh, I didn't expect the glass to be so heavy because I just refilled it and I was not aware. So I went to pick it up and I scared myself. What's up, Leg Shot? How you doing? We have managed to hack it. We've gotten into it all. Why was there a little crunchy on when I closed my jaw? I know where you can get the data you want, and it will only cost about $1,000 a month. Yeah, those things are the actual like engineering data documents, or you can sign up for them if you're a tech, but you better have a budget. What are we making? We're making my simulator setup. So these are actual car components, including a seat, a BMW F10 chair, and then I bought very expensive. They're probably not as expensive now. They're probably more, maybe they might be more expensive now. I don't know. These are really expensive. They're more common than the slightly smaller size, and then the much smaller size is not strong enough to support my big American ass. This I can jump up and down on, and it doesn't deflect at all. So, I mean, I guess I had to buy that, but I don't like that I had to. It was very expensive. But this is the new sim setup, and we're pulling kind of a flatulent gonad with it. And I'm going to surround my big fat ass with a bunch of man baby toys that I can effectively use like one of those activity centers for babies and play games while hitting switches and stuff. But to add to it, I have added luxury car features like having motors in these things. And if these things have motors in them, that means you guys will be able to control them. You'll be able to spend bits to try to fold Bother in half while he's trying to drive. Why would you do such a thing? Why wouldn't you do such a thing? But in order to get that real car feel, I wanted real car parts. And one of the real car parts that I happen to have was a BMW headlight switch. This isn't it. I had one from previous generations, and in previous generations, your headlight switch would interact with its own thing that you could pull externally through CAN bus, but then this thing would turn on and off all of your lights depending on where the switch was. That all sat behind the switch. However, technology's moved on. Instead of having this giant microprocessor, this is now its own thing, and it's got a little tiny 8-bit microprocessor in it, little tiny thing. This sends out a packet on what's called a LIN bus, and that talks to something else that cares. And the thing that cares will then speak CAN bus to everybody else. So when it comes to hacking CAN bus, we can sometimes find the codes that activate different features on the modules because people know CAN bus. They don't really know the LIN bus, I've found, and so finding out how to affect change on these things is tough. So we got our heads and asses together and we thought very carefully. I read the whole LIN standard, and this is years ago. I built a brute forcer that can just pull every address and see who's responding. Thing is, LIN bus is updated a little bit. Turns out we just got lucky with this one and our checksum was correct. But now we've got a slightly newer device, I think, and it's a different checksum calculation. So we took a little time to make sure the checksum calculated properly. That actually was a lot harder than it sounds. We got it working with the checksums and sending out the correct thing. Then we brute forced and we got this to respond. So hell yeah, brother. We actually got a response from this thing. There's a couple more features to this that I just showed, like where if this thing goes to sleep, it will not call out unless you change this status. So flipping this, this thing will send out a wake up pulse, which should wake up the master, and then the master pulls everybody and figures out what's going on. So this wakes everybody back up. Kind of cool. Low beams will be set with L1. You can see the signal changing as I do this. primarily the checksum, but the headlight switch is actually up here. Look at that, that's so cool. I think that's really cool. They didn't want us to know, oh, auto headlight activates a different piece of the packet, huh? Doot, 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 doot. That's over here. Doot, doot, doot. And then I guess if you had the Euro version, there would be another control on here. But I don't need the Euro version. Plus, it would be vastly more expensive. eBay's a fickle mistress, and this thing is like $27 on eBay. I love being able to do this. I feel like I'm one of the few that's able to do stuff like this. Buy something cheap. Everybody goes snarky at it. Oh, it's digital. You can only use it on a BMW. And I go, hell yeah, brother. And then we hack into it and we actually are able to do all this stuff. So you can change OBS sources with the switch. I could do that in the sim rig when I get it together. Yes, I'll have the ability to send through Node-RED, send stuff to OBS. Because right now, OBS controls this light right next to me. When I go to certain scenes, it'll turn off that light, so there's not an extra light blasting into my webcam. So that kind of control I can affect with the sim rig. I could have it so if I go to a particular scene in OBS, my chair leans back. Like I can do anything. I can connect anything to anything. But the problem is I need to somehow observe the backlight command for LIN-bus, and every one of my searches does not really appear to pull up specifics. I don't know if they've gotten down to this level with the LIN-bus. It's all about, because I put on backlight, and backlight apparently is not something that Google was able to find, and Google search kind of sucks now, so. This is the trap. You think this is the right thing, but it's not. Fault diagnosis guide. I don't think that's right either. So I don't know, if you guys have better sources than I do, I would love to know how that works. And I don't think Mercedes and BMW are doing the same thing in order to put backlight in. It's probably similar, but it's probably like a big packet and there's all kinds of different things on it. All of which is irrelevant except for changing the amount of light that comes out of the device. I hope it doesn't remain a mystery. I'm gonna have to brainstorm how I can try sending packets out to devices. Do you guys have any ideas? Because I am spent on this. I've put a lot of search into how to get that data, and the best way is probably just going to be going through a bunch of packets. This is, some reason it's all about the taillights. A lot of people are having trouble with their taillights for F10 series, huh? I could get my brother next time he's around. I just plug something in and I'd have to make something. I'd have to make something that records all of them, all those packets, because you got to go out to the car. Can't exactly get the car down here. It's possible that this thing, the seat computer, is speaking the LIN-bus to its button panel, but I can't be sure, and I don't know if this one works. This is one I got for $20. Yeah, I mean, if I do a complete takeover and I replace this with an Arduino, but it's maybe not too much trouble, but it's not something that I want to hack into this, you know? I don't want to let them win. Everything you ever wanted is behind 3 layers of paywall for all data. Yeah. It would not be worth $1,000 for me to go into this and look up the deep level data. Oh, Arduino just for that pinout. You know, that's, yeah, you could take over just that circuit. You could remove whatever MOSFET FET or transistor they're using to, because the microcontroller is not going to power the LEDs directly. It'll have a switch that it flips. And so put an ATtiny85 in there, running my own code, looking for my own packet from the LIN-bus. I don't know. Yeah, I could do that, but it's not, that's too much. You know, I kind of want to use their stuff. The diagnostic stuff is universal. So it's possible that polling the diagnostic thing could give me the ability to, but that's too dangerous. It's too dangerous. Well, yes, but you know what? I'd rather brute force the backlight. For BMW, I think I can get it. For Mercedes, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's all products. Facebook. What will Facebook offer me? It's going to pull up my email address, isn't it? Anyone know anything about Lynn? Look, I have live feed, red wires connected to blah, 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 blah. Automotive wiring is positive. Okay, this is just like basic repair stuff. They ain't talking packets. I take pictures of electronic parts. Oh, okay. Facebook is weird. Tail light tint, vehicle rear view assembly. Yeah, it's like those expensive repair manual things is where I'd probably find most of my data, most of the low-level data. So you get stuff like CAN bus explained. It's definitely one of these things where Google has run out of options and it's just feeding you random stuff. Free for 7 days, maybe you can slip in and snag the stuffs. That would be insane though. I'm not putting $1,000 on the line. You probably have to put that money on the line, so I don't really want to do that. Plus, it would probably take me a month to find the data. No, it'd probably be easier for me to just like bring a 6-pack to a mechanic. Yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of dig through. Cause like Linbus in 2006, they say that they provide C code, which I didn't know, and I should probably find, because that may have more answers for me. They do go through the specification on a pretty deep level. That's right. This is actually kind of confusing to read because of the way they code. Industry code is always crazy. The node definition sections identify the name of all participating nodes as well as specifying time, base, and jitter. Definition says the participating nodes. Okay, that's different. That's just explaining there. Where's their Oh, this is syntax of Lin description. Yikes. I think this is kind of going over their code. It's just hard for me to understand. Signal shall be in the range of 1 to 16 bits. Scalar signals 8, 6, 12, 32, 40, 64 array byte signals. Yeah, their code is going to be impossible for me to read. This is confusing. Then schedule tables. Oh my God. Because I don't think the specification specifically calls out something for like backlighting. Sending into the device is a bit more confusing. Snap-on has some Linbus diagnostic tools. So the diagnostic section of Linbus are those two addresses towards the end of the overall number. So it goes 0, 0 all the way up to 3F. 3F and 3E are for expansion purposes of the bus protocol, and then 3D and 3C are diagnostic. One can potentially reprogram devices, and the other one is for diagnostic tools to use. And those are standardized, so I think Snap-on is probably using that, because you plug in an external device and then it does the diagnostic. But maybe they have, maybe they know more than I do, because maybe they paid for that $1,000 data thing. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. I should look through this a little bit more. But we don't need to deal with schedule tables or anything. I mean, I've got enough data right now that I can make both the steering wheel and the headlight switch give us all the statuses that we need. Because, I mean, like, yeah, got it sitting right here. Look at that. Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo, doot, 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 doot. They have all of the things listed in a GUI for all car models. You can tap the iPad and cycle anything in a car. Ooh. Oh. So would they have backlighting on the I guess they probably have to. And so we would know, at least through maybe the diagnostic tools. Interesting. How much is that? Snap-on LIN bus. Shopping. For LIN bus equipment, communication, monitoring, and maintenance. Serial to LIN. Neat, but that's not the thing. Snap-on data bus fault. 180 bucks. Blah, blah, blah. That one's $1,000. It's $1,500. Data bus fault finder. Oh, this would be the one. Apollo D9 VDC diagnostic scanner. Only $1,600. No. If you could borrow it. Is it from like AutoZone? You have to like purchase it to borrow it. If that could control the backlights. Because I guess an automotive technician would need to be able to do that so that they can see if you know, that system on a car is functioning. And so it's probably known to somebody somewhere, all of this data that I want, but I'm unable to find the specifics. I could get that Snap-on device, prohibitively expensive, and then plug it into my oscilloscope here and get like a scan of a couple of the signals that it sends out when you change that particular parameter. This one does not contain the data I'm looking for. There was one page, it was like somebody else's YouTube video, and they had an oscilloscope on the LIN bus of a Mercedes, and they pushed a button, and the signals, the code, I guess they just didn't show it in enough detail. If you borrow a tool, you could call the functions and sniff with a man in the middle. Yeah, I could sniff a man right in his middle. Yes, that would be nice. No, but yeah, I could plug it into the O-scope and then get the signals. Or I could code something that would save all the values that it sees, and it's like an SD card. I don't think this has the data that I'm looking for. This is like the physical body stuff. There's quite a bit in here. I don't know what this is. Control F L I N. Lines. Line. Lying. Ling. Lin. Ah! Window lifters and the window hinges can be controlled using the switches of the door panel. The switches of the driver's door are electronically controlled or connected to the LIN bus. Switches of the front passenger door are voltage coded. Okay, so they just mention it, and that's all we get. D plus, alternator, LIN bus, door control unit. Yeah, this isn't going to go into that much detail. It's an interesting document, but this is what I've been dealing with. Everything's so complicated. Wheel speed signals? No. It's just they never engage on a low enough level I need engineering documents. This feels like it's getting close though. Doesn't it feel like it's getting a little bit more detailed the further down we move on this giant thing? But this is all for technicians so they can repair stuff. Vehicles with pre-installation antennas, so that's all the antenna stuff. Audio. That's a lot of good data. This stuff is paywalled on purpose. It keeps mechanics locked into diagnostic data subscriptions. Yeah. Type 1 diabetes and birthday girl. I put birthday girl there just because it's funny. Why is birthday girl a tag? I'm going to watch birthday girl stream today. I'm a birthday girl. Supported by control unit variants. Oh man, this is... Yeah, I don't think I'm going to find the data in here. Just this feels like the document's getting closer and closer to telling me what I want to know. It's giving me the wattage of the different... Wow. This is like the kind of information I need if I'm like if I want a fleet of Mercedes to have my own special modifications. Okay, there's that. Okay, none of the specifics are in here. One of the things that's fascinating about the Lin bus is that under the cheese on toast, yeah, that one was from Gonad. I saw that in his list and I was like, hell yeah. I think we might be the two cheese on toast streamers, but it just reminds me of a song from oh, I forget who now. Oh, my brain, no. Oh, brain, come on, man. But one of the lines is satisfied something with cheese on toast. It's well, well, well. Bum 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 bum. Witness the Fitness is the name of the song. There we go. But I don't remember what the group is again. Yeah, my brain's been failing today. I'm sort of out of sorts today. You guys can probably tell. Yesterday during the stream, the reason that I was like nauseous and I was sort of lost and very, very tired is that I was going diabetic ketoacidosis. My pump, which I had on the inside of this arm, had slipped or caught on a shirt or something. And I discovered after dinner that I had not been getting insulin the entire afternoon. So, I mean, that's readily visible on my blood glucose logs. You can see 12 p.m. all the way up to 8 p.m. And it was somewhere around 6 or 7 o'clock that I discovered this. And so I wasn't getting insulin for that entire time. Like, why am I so tired? And so that was this close to going to the hospital. That would have been a bad scene. But I managed to get everything under control and I'm fine now. I'm just a little worse for the wear, tired after doing that. So I apologize. Man, this sucks. I wish I could figure out what those signals are. This would be the Tritron. This is the product, the $1,600 product that would be able to affect the Lin bus. And this is the manual for it. And I have a feeling that the manual is not going to detail the digital packets that it sends out because again, it's paywalled. Yeah, I doubt there will be signal tables. It's probably a pretty good tool if you need it for multiple, all these things. But I need one thing and it's laser focused and it's the Lin bus backlight command. No, Willow was not barking because of that. Willow was barking yesterday because she had her friend over. There were 2 corgis upstairs, 2 fluffy corgis were upstairs. And since she's jealous of Quillen, who's the neighbor's corgi, getting things that she doesn't, she and there's a lot of just dog drama going on upstairs. So that's why she was nonstop. Today she's been relatively quiet. It's been nice. I've been able to actually concentrate on coding. Nothing will take you out of programming faster than dogs barking upstairs. It's ridiculous. This whole program needs to be kind of organized, and I'll probably do that in the background. If you haven't, take care of yourself, ER is a lot of debt. Yeah. You're back after dinner. You saw that we got into the device, right? So I've just been chewing the fat with chat and showing off a victory lap that I don't often get to do. Usually we'll have like a victory and then we'll immediately move on to something else. That's not the case. I'm stopping and I'm saying, hey, look, we succeeded. The talk right now is of, well, how do I get the packets that this thing responds to? Because this thing will respond to diagnostic frames. This is called a frame, this whole thing. It's just a re-terminology of like packet frame. Anyway, diagnostic frames would be able to have this thing responding, right? Or if I send it the specific command to turn the backlight to a certain value. And I have a feeling the backlight command is going to contain a lot of other stuff. I don't know what it is. The steering wheel is both from different companies, so they're probably going to have different backlight packets. The BMW nerds have gotten to such a low level with things that I would think that it would be published somewhere, but I haven't found it. And the second part of this whole thing is that LIN bus can reconfigure what devices it's connected to. It can swap their addresses around if it wants to. So I don't know how to do that. No, Quillen, not Quellis. Quillen. I do not know where the name came from. She actually named our corgi. She suggested Willow because there's such a Englandaboo that the queen at the time had her last corgi who was named Willow. Okay, Willow's going psycho at the door. It's possible that I could get the backlight command from this computer because this is internal to the seat. The seat speaks to its button things, but I'm not sure because there's a lot of pins coming into the buttons that I think maybe the buttons aren't a LIN bus accessory. This would be a master and one singular slave. I don't know. Let the puppy in. She's in. She can come down here and hang out if she wants. Hold on, I'm burping. She just doesn't want to hang out when I'm yelling at the computers, which is hypocritical of her because she's yelling at the door all day. Very hypocritical. Hippocrates. Damn it. It's like, what do I even search here? These are all like very overhead how-tos. The LIN bus is a signal system where blah, 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 blah. Ambient lighting not working. You know, maybe in the background there will be a scope that'll show us what we're looking for. The next best thing I can suggest is find a bootleg copy of the document ISO 17987. You gotta pay for those ISOs. Road vehicles. Structure. Oh. Ugh, whatever. Partitioning of ISO, all parts. In addition, outlines used were blah, 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 blah. How the hell? Oh. Used throughout ISO. So is this just local internet network? Is that just this? Because we're already looking at the LIN standard. Actually, this one might refer to that one. Really? Okay. No. Don't search for the same thing. No, they don't have it in there. $157. Whoa. That was like a junkyard dog bark. You just freaked completely out. I don't know what my dog's doing. Where's the PDF with all the technical specifications of LIN bus for Mercedes and BMW? I thought I'd be able to find that. I just wasn't able to. I thought I'd be able to Google it somewhere. Because all the little buttons on my steering wheel will light up. I just need to figure out what the packet is, and I could guess the packet, but I don't know if I'm going to affect other stuff by pushing that packet out. I don't wanna brick this thing with a bad packet, you know? Yeah, that's the thing, is general LIN bus is too general. We need very hyper-specific LIN bus stuff. Because we have the LIN standard in order to give us the structure, but it's the internal stuff. The, you know, hey, let's make packet 4 backlighting. Yeah, the LIN standard that automakers have to use. I don't think in the LIN standard it says a backlight packet looks like this, you know? Because like here, we have pieces of information in this signal that we don't know what they're doing. And like even in the steering wheel code that we get back, there are big blank areas, either for button configurations that we don't have, like for instance, having an extra Euro button here, which actually, that begs the question. Hold on a second. I got something that I want to answer. I wonder if I push the rubbly buttons. Oh, that's going to unplug the cable. Hold on. We got to take the front fascia off. I got to answer this for me. If I push this button, will we get the secret part of the packet? There's a screwdriver. I don't want to break these tabs. I got to be really careful with them. So if I push the secret button, okay, I didn't see if that did anything. Hold on, let me get a button pusher. Special component called a button pusher. It's a long rod. No. Okay, wait, stabilize that. Okay, that one's stable. It'd probably be at the beginning part of the packet, because this one's here. See that one change right there? Yeah, it's by design that they don't want me to have that data. Oh, it did. It does. See that right there? There's one little change up towards the front of the packet. Huh. So if I really want to, I could make a button that goes there. And I would have the ability to. That's funny. There's nothing, I don't think, well, there might be, those last two might be for a second slider that goes here. I'm annoyed that there isn't ambient light on this thing, though. Where can I send a link? If it's relevant, you can send it here, or you could put it in the Discord. I have a stream projects section, if you're too shy. How cool is that? So, all right, I got my job cut out. We've played with this thing enough. I'll need to spin off my program so that, what's that? You can always address it to the North Pole. No, I mean, it can go either in Discord or here. If you don't want to post it here, then, you know, the Discord is open. Yeah, I'll check it out and make sure, see if it's useful. Hopefully it is. Because I could use anything at this point. What I'm going to do is probably recover tomorrow so that I'm not a walking headache next time I stream. We'll be back on Tuesday. I think I have the house to myself for a little bit tomorrow, so I can actually like get extra sleep and not be completely I'm just moon brain today. Like I just don't have the ability to concentrate. I'm sorry. We did good work today. It was right along the lines of stuff that I normally do, and I can hopefully get a little bit of time to like organize it so that we can hit this thing with what we want. Doesn't go down to the low level stuff, but it is useful information. I think everything but specifics about the packets is not useful to me, right? I need the manufacturer specific information about the specific packets that they're sending or receiving, and that's going to be behind a paywall. And that's what Poopsie Doodle's been saying the whole time, and I agree that's how it works. They do not want to give you that information. That's the information that goes to sort of a different level of engineering than just repairs, and it's all behind a huge paywall so that mechanics operations have to pay $1,000 a month in order to access that kind of thing. Yeah, it's I'll take a look. I will take a look and let you know. But anything but super specifics is probably useless to us now. And the thing is, we can go in and guess, or I could try to find and see if somebody has working open source LIN bus software. But I've been striking out. The keywords are just not coming to me. So I'm also going to try to get a haircut before next stream, but we'll see. I will see you guys on Tuesday. I need to put that down from the admin section. One sec. Yoink. Go to admin and take a look at the command. Sorry, I meant to do this ahead of stream, but I've been, again, my brain has been in another area code at the moment. That would be the 7th. This is 7. Oh, I did APPR. That's why it said in 5 months. What apper? What? Oh my God. Dog's barking. Did I? Okay, APR 7. That's correct. Okay. 26. Good. 1235. There. Okay, so for once, I think there might be a LIN module for chatting. It's an open source multi-platform Cubase. Interesting. The one that we're using is from the Clickboard, but I don't know, like, are people out here messing around with LIN bus? Everybody does CAN bus now, right? I feel like I'm the only person doing this sometimes, you know? I don't understand why people wouldn't think like, hey, I want the controls to feel like my actual car, so let's use an actual car control. And then they buy something like this, and they go, man, how do I control it? Let me write an article about this. Tesla uses LIN, yeah. And it's like, well, most manufacturers are using it, and it's nice and standardized, but then all of the specifics of the packets are like not there. I feel like, you know, we found plenty of stuff for the shifter. We found like 3 or 4 projects for the shifter that people were using because people wanted to have a shifter that felt like a real shifter. So I don't know, maybe I'm on the precipice of this sort of thing, but I felt like I probably should have been finding more like forum questions and stuff like that on the low level stuff. I just haven't. It's crazy. And the BMW nerds are crazy enough that for like the E46, they've mapped out all the memory addresses of the engine control computer, right? They're crazy. So I felt like for the F10, we've had 10 years, and we probably should have that kind of data somewhere, but I just have been unable to find it. I've been unable to find it. Maybe there's some BMW nerds who know exactly where that data is. It's just buried on something. I don't know. Also, I do have diagnostics, but I think that's for CAN bus that go up to the F10 series because it's part of that big IMPA, etc. software platform, those Windows 3.1 programs that yell at you in German. But those programs work really weird, and I don't know if the data that I'm looking for is on that. Maybe it is. I'll have to go through my file server. I've got it on the file server. Maybe I can open it up and get down to the specifics. But those are a couple things that I can try. We've done a good job today. I'm very happy with the conclusion of today's stream because we actually got everything to work. It's pretty awesome. I have a ton of lithium batteries. Wait, that speak LIN bus? What the what? Wait, what? Huh? That's cool. All right. Well, anyway, so I will catch you guys on Tuesday. In the meantime, you can hop on my Discord. You can hop on the Discord, and that's pretty much my only social media is Discord. Oh, for Tesla, I see. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Tesla 16-volt small Tesla batteries. Huh. I wish if horses were wishes, we'd all be eating steak. No, that's not how. If I had garage, I would love to be doing stuff with Tesla parts, the good Tesla parts, not the body or the interior, but the motors. But instead of building a real car, I'm building a little. I don't want the last thing that I say on my stream before I stop is masturbatorium